know in the 18th century, British navymen just weren't allowed to have mustaches or facial hair of any kind, but Clark Gable, without it, it just looked wrong, guys. So if you don't like Master and Commander, I maybe wouldn't recommend checking this one out. It's kind of an amalgamation of that, In the Heart of the Sea, Pirates of the Caribbean? It's a real mix of things. Of course, it came before any of them. So if you don't know, because I imagine that these days a lot of people don't really remember it that well, Mutiny on the Bounty is the 1935 Best Picture Oscar winner. And it's the true story turned book, turned play, turned movie, turned several more movies after this actually, about the HMS Bounty, which was an English ship that was sent to Tahiti in 1787. It was sent there to bring back 1,000 breadfruit trees, which sounds like a weird mission nowadays, but it was a 2-year voyage back in those times, under the command of Captain William Bligh. Of course, it was an MGM picture in the 30s, so the ship's lieutenant is played by Clark Gable. Honestly, maybe this is a little Sinbad Legend of the Seven Seas as well, because Clark Gable is basically the 1930s Brad Pitt. Anyway, Captain Bligh is basically a huge prick who punishes people viciously and for his own pleasure as much as anything else, to the degree that at the beginning, before they set off, we see them, this person who's being sent around all the ships, being like flogged, being whipped for something he did, and it turns out he's dead by the time he gets to their ship. They've whipped him too much, he's dead. And Captain Bligh just kind of goes, no, whip him anyway. He hasn't received all of his lashes yet. And he's kind of sitting there going, oh no. So that's the level of dicketry going on here. Anyway, Gable's character, Fletcher Christian, is understandably not quite up for these shenanigans and tries to circumvent the captain at every opportunity, leading to a lot of tension between them. It gets worse when they get to Tahiti, where they have to stop off for months, and the captain tries to keep Fletcher Christian on the ship the whole time and doesn't give him any shore leave, which makes things pretty bad. All of that kind of leads to, well, sea title, I guess. The ship's called the Bounty. Sea title. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a lot of films that have won the Best Picture Oscar, but only most of them are this depressing and have such serious subject matter. It is a fascinating true story, and it goes on longer than you'd expect in terms of where it takes the story, you know? After the sea title, you know, there's quite a lot of story left, and a lot of that part is not quite dragging a little bit, but it's the most depressing part. It is a surprisingly unique and engaging story, and you've got to be able to forgive some level of historical inaccuracy as well with this one, because it's actually based on the 1932 Charles Nordhoff and James Norman Hall novel based on the Mutiny, which already had kind of some historical inaccuracies in it. So can we forget all about these historical inaccuracies, including the fact that Captain Bligh wasn't actually all that mean and heartless? Can we turn aside the fact that this wasn't even the first film adaptation about the Bounty? There was actually a 1933 Australian film starring a then unknown Errol Flynn in Gable's role. And can we forget about the fact that it basically got beaten by The Informer for every other big Oscar that it was up for? We'll try, and we'll just talk about this film for what it is and what it remains today. Here's my moment review for Mutiny on the Bounty. I really enjoyed this. I don't quite find it to be on the level of All Quiet on the Western Front or It Happened One Night for Best Picture winners that I've watched so far, but it's in that wheelhouse, as opposed to being in the kind of Cavalcade or, you know, any of the others' wheelhouse, and that's great to begin with. And it does feel like something that you could watch and say immediately, wow, that is like a true classic, you know? I think after the sea title moment, it does drag a little bit, and you're kind of sitting there going, oh my gosh, no, there's still more, oh, they're taking this further and further, you know? And that surprised me, but I feel like it is like a complete story, and it would be weird to have finished it at any other point now that I've seen where it went. So I can't blame it too much for dragging like that now. I'm glad to have checked it out and would recommend that anyone else do the same if you're, bored and looking for old movies to watch. And I'm giving this 78 out of 100. Although I will say that the 1984 film called The Bounty, which was based on a historical book as opposed to the Nordhoff Hall one, it is a lot more historically accurate, and it stars Mel Gibson and Anthony Hopkins, so it's got to be pretty interesting as well. And that's all for this 1 minute review, folks. I'm managing to get one of these Best Picture Oscar winner 1 minute reviews out every week or two right now, but I'm unsure of how much I'll keep that up. I'm kind of not excited for whatever this is next. I don't know what that is. Anyway, please subscribe. Bye!